I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Zay Flowers is going to absolutely feast against Pittsburgh. Like, I think what Pittsburgh does defensively just gives the Ravens a gift, specifically with Zay Flowers. And Derrick Henry too, but that's all coming up for later. What I mean specifically, okay, when you look at the Steelers defense, their favorite coverage to run is called man free. They do it somewhere around 20% of the time. They did it a ton when they just played the Buffalo Bills this past Sunday. What that is, it is a 5-man pressure up front, okay? And then it's one deep post safety. So it's basically cover one, but you're rushing 5. Because then you got man coverage across the board, okay? So everybody else is in man. There's one deep safety, and then you got 5 rushing. So basically 5 guys in coverage, 5 guys rushing, 1 deep safety in zone. Here's exactly what it looks like to be a little bit more precise. You could see the guys who are blitzing. You could see the guys in coverage. And, of course, you could see that deep safety right there. Well, there's 2 things they do this for. Number one, they like to do it because they believe it keeps running quarterbacks in the pocket. Because if you rush 5 and they've got good gap discipline, most likely there's nowhere for any of that, there's nowhere for that quarterback to go because they're plugging up on the holes. And they also came into the season trusting their quarterbacks in coverage, and unfortunately they have let them down because they have been getting absolutely torched all season long. I mean, look at these big wide receiver performances against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jamar Chase, 160. Jefferson, 126. And Njigba, 103. Wilson, 95. Henry, 90. Kraft, 143. Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. in the same game both got 115. Ladd McConkey, 107. The average, just in those guys I've shown you, 8 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. So this is why it's a gift for Zay Flowers. Because if you play man free and you are manned up on somebody with no zone help in the middle, that benefits wide receivers who are able to get quick separation, are good route runners, and also are great in the yards after catch scenarios, which perfectly describes Zay Flowers. I mean, look at him so far this season at 2025. The yards might not be what you want them to be. The touchdowns might not be what you want them to be, but his average separation per route, 3.6 yards, 10th best of all wide receivers in the NFL. His yards after catch per reception, 5.7 yards, 3rd best in the National Football League among all wide receivers. So his combination of average separation, yards after catch, against a coverage that is vulnerable to those 2 things already is absolutely deadly. Because I think we all know Zay Flowers is the type of cat that can take a 3-yard slant and go 70 yards to the house. And he's going to get open. And one-on-one coverage, he will get open. Something we've opened up is our Week 14 sub battle. Unfortunately, we're down. But the good news is we're not down as big as we've been throughout the rest of this week. Only down 9 subscribers. We cut the lead, their lead, to less than 10. Now, let's take that lead over. If you haven't joined us yet, hit that subscribe button. Daily coverage of your Ravens right here, and help make a Steelers fan day just a little bit worse. Additionally, I think this is going to be really good for Lamar Jackson as well. Okay? Because if you're running this type of coverage, which the Steelers do, and you've got a wide receiver that can get open and he can get open quickly, your average depth of target is going to be far less. Quick, easy passes. And I feel like Lamar Jackson needs those to kind of get back into a rhythm. I think one of the reasons he's been out of a rhythm is because the last 2 games, his average depth of target is so high. 12.1 yards against Cincinnati. 11.4 yards against Cleveland. You're not really doing much checkdowns and screen passes, and I don't want him to turn into a checkdown Charlie. I am just in the camp of maybe with the way he's been playing recently, get him a couple of quicker, easier passes early to get him going, get him feeling himself, and then you unleash the full strength of Lamar Jackson in that arm later in the ballgame. And I get it. People are worried because if they rush 5, plug up all those gaps, he's not going to scramble much. Look, he's probably not going to scramble much against Pittsburgh anyway. Multiple reasons. Number one, we all know he's not fully healthy in his lower body. Number 2, They do rush 5. They do plug gaps, and they got good gap discipline in Pittsburgh. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for Lamar to stay in the pocket. Okay? Like, if I'm Todd Monken, my take on this is run as many quick developing routes as possible for both Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers' and this offense's sake. It could be as simple as that, in my opinion. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because coming up on the back half of today's show, I'm going to tell you why you can expect a big game from Derrick Henry as well. I told you why Zay's going to have a big game. Now I'm going to tell you why number 22 is going to have a big one as well. But speaking and going back to Zay, 6.5 catches for Zay Flowers. Over or under? It's Vegas time, ladies and gents. Let me know down below in that comment section. I think it goes over, personally. Gage, what do you think? Gage thinks he goes over as well. Make sure that you guys go over to chatsports.com/flockhoodie to grab yourself this hoodie for just $49. And, hey, you didn't hear this from me. Rumors are it might even be on a bigger sale if you get to it as quickly as you can. $49, that's all it costs. If you need a present for somebody for Christmas, if you need something for your dad, brother, cousin, mom, son, uncle, aunt, I don't care who. If you need a present for yourself, get yourself a Merry Christmas and get this hoodie for an awesome deal. Chatsports.com/flockhoodie. That's going to be in the comments. That's also going to be in the description of today's video. So we all know that this offense and this team runs very, very heavily through Derrick Henry. When Derrick Henry has a good game, most likely the rest of the offense has a phenomenal game. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a game against a running back that they had to face in James Cook, who absolutely torched them. 32 carries for James Cook, 144 yards. 4.5 yards a carry. His longest run of the day was 31 yards. I mean, the Buffalo Bills just went death by 1,000 paper cuts. Look at this screenshot right here. I mean, look at that hole. Pause. You could run a truck through that thing, ladies and gentlemen. They ran the play duo over and over and over. And they ran it from this formation 31 times. Talk about death by 1,000 paper cuts. Basically, duo was where you double team the two interior defensive linemen, your tackles, they get their one-on-ones on the outside, and your running back is off to the races. On those 31 runs from that exact formation I just showed you, they got 189 yards and averaged over 6 yards a carry. Can you believe that? Just over and over and over. Pittsburgh even knew what they were going to do. It was from the same formation. The same formation. And Pittsburgh couldn't stop it. They could not. In fact, TJ Watt even weighed in on it at the end of the game. He said, I've never seen a team run the same play as much as they ran it tonight and have as much success as they had. I mean, I'm out of words for it. Now, there is one problem. I'll tell you what the problem is. The Baltimore Ravens offensive line, in terms of run blocking, unfortunately is nowhere near as good as the Buffalo Bills is. Okay? The Bills offensive line is like one of the best in the National Football League, if not the best in the NFL. So that's a big reason why James Cook had as wide of a hole as I showed you earlier. That's a big reason why they were just able to run things out of the same formation 31 times in a row, because they were out physicaling the front in Pittsburgh. Regardless of that, though, it's going to be time, if you're not getting the ball to Zay Flowers, to be giving the ball to Derrick Henry and just go let him shine. Go let him do his thing. Go let him get like 378 yards on the ground, just like he did in the playoff game against Pittsburgh. Okay? Just like that. Because you don't know if you're going to be able to rely on Lamar Jackson. The last couple weeks hasn't looked that great. Historically, against Pittsburgh, he hasn't looked that great. 58% completion percentage, 160 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's historically what he is when facing off against the Steelers. Now, there is a little bit of, good news to that. His final 2 games in 2024 against Pittsburgh, the playoff game and the Week 17 ball game, he had an average of a 71.5% completion percentage, 382 pass yards, 5 touchdowns and a pick. Now, a big reason of that is because they were absolutely gashing them in the run. But I think the gift that you got from Pittsburgh today is you saw and you have 2 ways to beat them offensively. Whether it's with Zay Flowers taking care and taking advantage of man free, or whether it's with Derrick Henry running right up the gut and getting himself and having himself a day. How many touchdowns combined for Jackson and Henry? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm going to say 5. That's my take. I want to hear yours down below. Make sure you guys got me followed on social media at Joey Petersen on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/RavensTV. You'll find us here every single day, talking only Ravens. Best place to be. So make sure you like us.